Marshall, Dr. Milford Jeremiah, now leads our chief administrators, as well as our board of regents, and our president, President David Wilson, as they process to the stage.
Please take every seat. So this is the mix-up night before the next one. I'm not too sure, but I know you guys are parents.
First off, thanks to Dr. Samuel Stringer of the Department of Fine and Performing Arts for the processional music. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. To Chairman Mfume and members of the Board of Regents, to our keynote speaker, Dr. John Sylvanus Wilson, Jr., to members of the Morgan State University Educational Leadership Team that's seated on the dais, to our devoted alumni, distinguished guests, faculty emeriti and members of the faculty, to our students and staff of Morgan State University, but most of all, to our distinguished student honorees, to their families and their friends. We welcome you to the 2019 Honors Convocation of Morgan State University. This morning, we assembled here in one of the most important convocations of the academic year. It is the occasion on which we convene the entire university community in a formal ceremony to celebrate the high academic achievement of Morgan's best students. Morgan is an institution that is committed first and foremost to the success of our students, and we take very seriously our responsibility to give formal recognition to those students who have taken their studies with us seriously and have taken advantage of every opportunity that we offer them to grow, to learn, and to become better. They are the students who have come to Morgan not only to get a sheepskin, not only to get a degree, but to get an invaluable education. And this morning, we pause to simply applaud their academic success and their commitment to the highest academic standards. We want them to know that Morgan appreciates the opportunity that they have afforded us to contribute to their education, and that they themselves have made a great contribution and are making a great contribution to the academic, intellectual, and cultural life of Morgan by being such terrific students. And so I ask you to turn off your cell phones and other mobile devices, or minimally put them on vibrate, so that they will not become a distraction during our ceremony. I also want to remind the students who are gathered with us that they should not leave the concert hall until the convocation has officially ended and the academic recession has exited the hall. All classes from 11 until 1 are suspended until this convocation has ended. We owe our student honorees these important courtesies. With that said, we will begin our program officially with the invocation by Reverend Dr. Bernard Keels, Dean of the University Memorial Chapel.
Let us gather in prayer. Almighty, omnipotent, thou who art the fountain and reservoir of all wisdom, rain down on us gathered here this morning as we travel to this station of honor, enlightened by your Holy Spirit those who teach and those who learn, that they may truly rejoice in the knowledge of your truth, mindful of your guidance from generation to generation. Holy One, we ask you may deposit in them the freedom to challenge themselves and to each other, to have the courage to boldly step out of their comfort zones and to risk answering the big questions in life. What is my purpose? Meaning, my relationship to others. In days of difficulty and uncertainty, O God, may we stay the course of excellence, recalling and drawing upon the excellence of those who came before us, those with much less, nevertheless, accomplish so much more. Fortressed by the inspiration of dream merchants and drum majors who grew our future from the stormy past and met their descendants at the point of their need. For those who have achieved this high mark of excellence this day, grant them courage, love, and the abundance of purpose. Protect them from cynicism and complacency. Keep them ever mindful that the world is theirs, but they are not the world. And to remind them of the adage of our foreparents, to whom much is given, much is expected. In the matchless name of the God we pray, and the God who sustains us. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Keels. You may be seated. I wish to acknowledge the presence of a number of members of the Morgan State University Board of Regents who have joined us this morning for this celebration. I will ask each to stand and be recognized. First, we have the chairman of the Morgan State University Board of Regents, the Honorable Kwaisi Mfume. Regent Winston Wilkerson. And our student regent, Regent Naraji Metley Bacon. Please join me in giving our members of the Board of Regents a round of applause. We will now have official greetings from the board. brought to us by the Honorable Kwaisi Mfume, Chair of the Board.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson, for your leadership of our Fair Morgan and for convening us in yet another honors convocation. Good morning also to Dr. John Wilson, Jr., our convocation orator, who will be properly and formally introduced later. To all of our current honor students and all of our future soon-to-be honor students, to our alumni, our friends, ladies and gentlemen, what a great annual and august occasion. Might I just say to our provost, Dr. McFadder, and especially to the distinguished faculty that are seated before me, thank all of you for all of the effort you have poured into these students. It is my pleasure to bring you greetings from the Morgan State University Board of Regents as together we lift high and celebrate academic excellence while bestowing prestige and honor on student achievement. Founded 152 years ago, just 4 years after President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, this institution would go on to become the threshold for the launching of a new era in all areas of life for a race of people who would take little and do much with it. With that in mind, we are particularly honored today to honor our honor students for their work and sacrifice that they've put into their studies and for their academic discipline required to matriculate successfully. It has been said that our children are the messages that we send to a future that many of us will never see. Students, now that you have grown out of childhood, you do now realize that you are those messages and you are those messengers. Remember to always commit to excellence. Write a new script in the annals of this society and in the history of this nation. And be the best ever at whatever you decide to do. And as descendants of a race of people who rose from the pain and cruel shackles of slavery, reach out now for the baton of those who overcame, as it expected, and we expect, that you will overcome also. And know at the end of the day, at Fair Morgan, an institution of high ideals, we continue to proclaim victory over adversity and excellence over mediocrity. The Board of Regents here joins with our president, our faculty, alumni, students, and staff in reminding all who would come this way, seeking as they do educational transformation, that the vision of our founders of academic excellence in the pursuit of opportunity remains steadfast and it remains unbroken. My sincere congratulations to our honor students and the distinguished faculty who teach and guide them. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you very much, Chairman Mfume. We will now have a musical selection by what we all know is the best college choir, not just in America, but in the world. The Morgan State University Choir, conducted by Dr. Eric Conway.
Good morning. We will sing a Nathan Carter arrangement of If I Can Help Somebody. Our solos will be Alexandria Critchlow Bradshaw. And in fact, 2 weeks ago today, Alex represented the choir in the university where she sang for the homegoing service of former Governor Harry Hughes in Annapolis. In fact, the Sun paper said the most poignant part of that ceremony was the singing of this song, If I Can Help Somebody.
I could help somebody. Traveling wrong, then my living shall not be in vain. If I could do my duty as a Christian heart, if I could bring back beauty to a world abroad, if I could spread love's message as the Master taught, then my living shall not be in vain. Then my living shall not be in vain. Then my living shall not be in vain. If I could help somebody as I pass along, then my living shall not be in vain. Then my living shall not be in vain.
Oh boy. Enough said. I rest my case. You know, the Morgan State Choir gets an opportunity every year to travel around the world. And this coming summer is no exception. And so they will be leaving the Monday following commencement, and they will be touring Great Britain, Scotland, and I believe Ireland. And they will be regaling audiences in Europe this summer with some of the melodies that you just heard. Please join me in giving the Morgan State University Choir another round of applause. It is indeed a great pleasure for me to introduce our keynote speaker for the Honors Convocation this morning. Not only is he a very dear friend of mine, he has for his entire professional life been a clear and resounding voice on behalf of our nation's historically black colleges and universities, and he has been an insightful critic and contributor to the value of American higher education. A native of the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, John Sylvanus Wilson Jr., for some unknowable reason, decided not to attend the national treasure, Morgan State University, the place that produced my second mother and his dear mother, but rather he enrolled at some school in Atlanta that I had never heard of, a place called Morehouse. And he graduated from, you guys haven't heard of that school, right? Yeah, I'm not here by myself, right? And so he graduated in 1979 with a degree in business and with minors in both religion and philosophy. And from there, he pursued graduate study at the Harvard Divinity School, earning first a Master of Theological Studies there. And then he liked Harvard so much, he remained on and entered the Harvard Graduate School of Education, which is actually where we met and became good friends in 1984, from which he received both his master's and his doctoral degrees in administration, planning, and social policy. Dr. Wilson rose quickly through the ranks of academe and administration, beginning at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, where he devoted 16 years of his career in a variety of positions, including rising to the level of associate provost at MIT and director of foundation relations. He then went on to George Washington University, where he served as associate professor of higher education in George Washington's Graduate School of Education, and also he led the George Washington, Virginia campus as executive dean of that campus. Some of you may know Dr. Wilson because of his tenure as executive director of the White House Initiative on HBCUs. Appointed by former President Barack Obama in 2009, Dr. Wilson was and remains an outspoken proponent of historically black colleges and universities and the extraordinary opportunities that these institutions afford African Americans and others of all persuasion seeking their particular version of the American dream. In 2012, in what must have been a dream come true, Dr. Wilson was appointed the 11th president of Morehouse College. Congratulations. And his innovative and energetic leadership as president at Morehouse sparked a multifaceted renaissance of that institution. Enrollment and graduation rates increased. Alumni giving doubled. Annual advancement returns rose by 41%, and trustee contributions tripled. Dr. Wilson's considerable investments in the academic enterprise at Morehouse produced its 4th Rhodes Scholar in 2016. Silicon Valley also took notice, bringing its creativity and its capital to Morehouse during his tenure. Thus, in 2015, Forbes magazine named Morehouse as the 5th most entrepreneurial college in America. Undoubtedly, Dr. Wilson's dynamic and results-driven approach to collegiate leadership was one of the many factors that helped persuade then-sitting President Barack Obama to serve as commencement speaker in 2013, marking the first time in Morehouse's history that it had a sitting president on its campus as its commencement speaker. Dr. Wilson retired from the presidency of Morehouse in 2017 and returned to Harvard University. After a year as a president and resident at the Graduate School of Education at Harvard and conducting research on a forthcoming book on HBCUs and the future of American higher education, Dr. Wilson assumed in April of 2018 his current position as senior advisor and strategist to the new president at Harvard University, Dr. Larry Bacow. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Morganites, please join me in giving a warm, enthusiastic Morgan welcome to our Honors Convocation speaker, Dr. John Sylvanus Wilson, Jr.
I want to say thank you to my brother, David Wilson, and I wish he had really skipped that introduction because, you know, this choir, to me, is transcendent. You know, usually I might stand up here and talk a little trash about the Morehouse College Glee Club, the club I was in, but I'm giving it up to Morgan State University today. That was transcendent. I got much love for her. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Greetings to you all. Congratulations to the vanguard, the best and the brightest of Morgan State University. Thank you to my brother, David Wilson. Dave and I have been close friends for many, many years. We've relied on each other throughout the years and have remained close. You have a very special president. Every time I have visited this campus on his watch, I see great things happening, a new building springing up out of the ground. It's just enormous leadership, and you should be proud of David. I'm here because he invited me, but I'm here also because I've heard about Morgan State University all my life. My mother was shaped here, and she proudly emerged from the class of 1949, all right? She's 91 years old. She's 91 years old, and she's still going to Morgan State alumni meetings. She is in Philadelphia. She goes to the concert every year. She was going to be down here for this morning. She was a little tired, but she's coming back for her 70th reunion this May, and I'm going to be right here with her. I also want to acknowledge Professor, Chair of Physics, Willie Rockford. He and I toured together down at Morehouse, and Doctor, you've landed well at Morgan State University. I love you for being here. I landed well too, and I like that, all right? That's God, all right? Somebody say amen. I am the son, grandson, and great-grandson of preachers, so it may get like that every now and then as I stand here, all right? I have 20 minutes, and I will honor that. I want to get personal and offer 7 quick words of advice to the honorees. You're all over here, is that right? All right, let me hear. Oh, some back here. Raise your hand. Honorees, raise your hand. All right, you're in focus for me, all right? You are why we're here. I want to give you some things that you can do to make Morgan proud. Now, you see there in the background where we're going to go with this. Now, I'm going to talk about 7 things. These things are not in your curriculum. They're not in your textbook. Not in your major. They're about finding your voice, your calling, your purpose, your destiny. What I'm going to talk about today is how you can align yourself. There we go. Align yourself and sharpen yourself and elevate yourself, deepen yourself, dethrone yourself, Morgan yourself, and awaken yourself. And I have a special guest here who's going to be at the center of one of these points as I move toward the end. And I want you to meet this special guest. And final thing I'll say before I start is I'd like all of the honorees to pay attention to who you're seated next to. Just notice, look around who's around you, because on my way here, I thought back to when I was seated where you are down there at Morehouse, and seated near me was Martin Luther King III, and seated near me was Jay Johnson, who just served as Homeland Security Secretary. Seated near me were about 30 doctors and 40 lawyers, 30 businessmen, people who went to business school. Seated near me also was a young guy. We were all young, but he was a young and ambitious guy named, you know him by Spike Lee. We know him by Shelton. He was in my freshman class at Morehouse. And fast forward, after a couple of films, he came up to teach at Harvard. I was at MIT, and we worked together on some courses at Harvard. And he taught me, he said, John, show, don't tell. You don't have to talk a whole lot. A picture's worth 1,000 words, but a moving picture's worth 10,000 words. So illustrate with moving pictures. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share with you a scene or two associated with each point I'm going to make, and I will honor the time. All right, so the first point of 7 is to align yourself. And I'm speaking to the honorees. Each one of you must decide whose side you're on. I want you to know that your life makes a clear statement about whose side you're on, who you are working for. The way you live your life will either align you as a force for light or a force for darkness. The way you live your life, every day, every decision you make, it's all going to add up. And you will either end up having been a force for light or a force for darkness. Now, Spike Lee captured this dualism in one of his earliest films, and I shared with you in a brief scene right here.
Newest, latest. Let me tell you the story of right hand, left hand. It's a tale of good and evil. Hate. It was with this hand that Cain iced his brother. Love. These 5 fingers, they go straight to the soul of man. The right hand, the hand of love. The story of life is this. Static. One hand is always fighting the other hand. And the left hand is kicking much ass. I mean, it looks like the right hand love is finished. But hold on, stop the presses, the right hand's coming back. Yeah, he got the left hand on the ropes now, that's right. Yeah, ooh, it's a devastating right, and hate is hurt. He's down. Ooh, left hand hate, KO'd by love.
And it's not just love and hate. You're either a force for good or for evil. You're either a force for right or for wrong, for freedom or for bondage. You're either a force for brilliance or ignorance. You are either a force for God or for Satan. I want to encourage you this morning to align yourself as a force for good and for right and for God. And if you can do that, then you will make Morgan proud. Point 2, sharpen yourself. Now, I know you honorees may think that your competition is right next to you or right behind you or right across the hall, but I want you to know that your competition is across town and across the country and across the world. India has 1.2 billion people. Half of them are under the age of 25. A third of them are under the age of 14. And that's why they're building 1,000 new colleges, looking to enroll 40 million by the year 2025. We enroll 20 million here in America. Likewise, China has 1.3 billion people looking to surge educationally as well. They're looking to enroll 40 million by 2025. They will double our enrollment. That's a lot of brain power, and most of it in India and China is focused on the STEM fields. Where are my STEM majors? All right? I want you to think about your competition, all of you, not just the STEM majors. I know you're honors here, but the question is, are you working hard enough to be ready to compete with the best in the world? That's the question. And it's in your power to ensure that you are, because everything you need is right here at Morgan State University. And my warning to you is, if you're not cutting edge, you may get cut down. And it may look something like this. That's you. Now, I know that's a little violent, and I'm not advocating violence, but if you are outclassed, your competition may blow you away just like that. You can make Morgan proud if you sharpen yourself. All right? Point 3 of 7. Hold on. I got to make the point first. I got homework for you. I want everybody, you honor students, some of you others too, I want everybody to read an essay by Cornel West. It's called The Dilemma of the Black Intellectual. You Google it, you go online, you'll find a PDF. I just did it a couple nights ago. In it, Cornel West says this very simply: there are 2 organic intellectual traditions in African American life: the Black Christian tradition of preaching and a Black musical tradition of performance. He says in no other fields are African Americans mastering their craft. And let me break it down. He breaks it down. He says in no other fields, we have not created a Louis Armstrong or a Miles Davis or Sarah Vaughan in other fields like we have in jazz. And we have not created people who can match the accomplishments of Manuel Scott and Gardner Taylor in the pulpit. In other words, what Cornell wants us to see is that we don't yet have a Louis Armstrong of civil engineering, or Sarah Vaughan of computer science, or Martin Luther King of mathematics, or Carmen McRae of cybersecurity. Now, how many of you have heard of the Nicholas brothers? Not many people. All right? The Nicholas brothers didn't go to Morgan State. They didn't go to college. They couldn't. It was back in the 20s and 30s. The closest they got to college was their family named their family entertainment group the Collegians. That's as close as they got to college. But they found a way to be brilliant. And they happened to find themselves at the center of what is still referred to as the best scene ever shot in American film. And they did it in one take. And this point is to elevate yourself, so I want you to understand how the Nicholas brothers elevated their art on film. This is about 2 minutes long, and you'll understand why I'm giving you the whole thing. All right? That's the Nicholas brothers from Philadelphia. And I want you to understand that they did that in one take, and their point is to elevate. We need you to go into whatever your field is and take it to the next level. If the people in your field are only doing a split, then you do this. You go down and you get up with no hands. You see that? You take it to the next level. Now, I can go down like that, but I can't get back up. I tried it. I stayed down a while. You can make Morgan State University proud if you elevate yourself. All right. Point 4 is to deepen yourself. And I'm going to breeze right through now. How many of you honorees go to 2 or 3 parties maybe a month? 2 parties. Yeah, raise your hand. Be honest now. I want you to consider going to 2/3 fewer parties than you go to. Instead of going to that next party and the next 2 parties, I want you to read a book. I want you to stay in your room. Somebody clap, please. Thank you very much. Like you agree. And I want you to understand something. This will have a purpose. You have to deepen yourself. You're in college, and this is the time when you study hard and work hard and be serious, and you find your voice. You find your calling. You find out who you truly are. So instead of the next 2 parties, I want you to take some time and enrich your mind and your spirit. Now, I want you to understand something. If you deepen yourself mentally and spiritually, it will matter socially. You'll get better social outcomes. One person said amen. All right. But I've lived this. My wife was almost going to be here, but I'll tell you about her later. Here, I want you to watch how this is illustrated in this film. And it's going to feature a Morgan State grad, the name of a Morgan State grad. Listen.
And that tall, fine brother at the end of the bar is trying to neck. Oh, don't let me block. Call me if you need me. All right.
I like your song.
Thank you.
I'm Greg.
Zora.
Interesting name, Zora.
Uh-huh.
Right. Exotic.
Exotic, huh? You ever heard of Zora Neale Hurston?
Is she a rich widow trying to get a tax shelter? Then I haven't.
You know what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't want to waste your time.
What?
I came out with my girls, and I just want to spend time with them. Thank you, though. Thank you for coming over.
Nice meeting you, Zora.
I think our table's ready.
Now, did you see what happened? She said, you ever hear of Zora Neale Hurston? What if he had said, instead of saying, who is she, a rich widow trying to get a tax shelter? What if he had said, oh, you mean the graduate of Morgan State University who wrote Ships at a Distance Have Every Man's Wish on Board? Do you think that conversation would have continued? She rejected him because he was weak. He wasn't bringing anything to her. He wasn't on her level. That's what sisters want, brothers. That's what brothers want too, I'm telling you. But if you do that, you will increase your options. I'm going to say that again. If you do that, you will increase your options. But I must move along. If you deepen yourself, you will make Morgan proud. Point 5, dethrone yourself. Or I could put it this way, put others first. This West African boy was on the cover of The Economist magazine in 2006. It broke my heart.
I'll mention the educational stats in India and China, but it is different in Africa. There are 900 million people in Africa. Half are under the age of 20, and 70% are getting no formal schooling. In America, we are the most educated folk of African descent on the planet. And that means your stakes are higher to do well. So my question is, who is on your throne? Do you put others first, or are you all about you? Now, you notice that this West African boy has a phone that he made of mud in his hands. He made that of mud, and that's a sign of the digital divide in this world. And maybe some of you will come out of here with STEM expertise and figure out how to close that digital divide and get this boy some way to say something on that phone. But there's another boy, not in West Africa, but in West Baltimore, and you can help him too. West African boy doesn't have a phone to say something on. The West Baltimore boy may not have anything to say on the real phone. And unless he gets some education, which you can help with. So the question is, are you dethroned enough to serve others? And while you're serving others, serve institutions too. Now, I did my homework and I checked alumni giving. I see at Morgan, alumni giving is 17%. That could be better. All right, that could be better. I know on Dave's watch, on Dr. Wilson's watch, it has gotten better. But it can be better than that. And I want you honorees to commit yourselves to giving to Morgan State University upon graduation and at graduation, and being the best givers in the history of Morgan State University. Amen? Clap, honorees. I'm going to turn again to Spike Lee, who created this. Hold on. Here we go. It's a little delayed.
Hold it, I've got something else to say. This is a new day. There is a feeling that the predominantly black college, for all intents and purposes, has outlived its usefulness. Over the years, it has been vital to our elevation in this great country, but the need no longer exists in an integrated society.
That's absurd. It does exist. It exists at Notre Dame and Yeshiva, Brandeis, at Brigham Young. Now you tell me, what is the difference?
You want to know the difference? I'll tell you the difference. The difference is that the Catholics alone support the Notre Dames. The Jews alone support the yeshivas. Mormons support the Brigham Youngs. Who supports the black colleges? I'll tell you who. The federal government and philanthropists like Snodgrass. Harold, why won't blacks support Spelman, Tuskegee, Morehouse, Howard?
We do.
Barely.
Barely is right. Alumni giving at HBCUs is averaging around 12%. At the publics, it's 8%. So you are double here what the public giving is. So I'm proud of Morgan State, but I want to be prouder on the road ahead. And the only way for me to be prouder of Morgan State, and for everybody to be proud of Morgan State, is if you dethrone yourself and serve others and serve this institution, make it stronger and stronger and stronger. Now, I'm to point 6 of 7, and I'm going to rush quickly because I know my time is short. Everybody all right? All right, all right. Next point is to Morgan yourself. You ought to be able to look up here and know the name of every Morgan graduate I have up there, every single one. I do, and I graduated from Morehouse. It didn't take me research. I know these people. It's one of the reasons why I'm very proud of Morgan State University. I love Morgan State University. You did that. Now let me just show you this. There are their names. Hold on. This remote is a little jumpy. There are their names. There you see. I hope you got them right. Denise Williams, there's Zora Neale Hurston, Earl Graves. You got some you got some remarkable people, but I don't want to talk about them. I want to talk about one Morgan graduate who I got to know when I was at the White House, became very, very proud of him, and had this in focus, and I wanted to feature this story. There's a book written here, and this man's name is Dr. Miles Harrison. Now, before I ask him to stand, I hope you all know the story here. I know most of you do, but I was compelled by this story because, you know, everybody was excited, all excited last year when UMBC, ranked number 16 in the basketball tournament, beat number 1 Virginia, and everybody got all excited, and that was just the first round. They went out shortly thereafter. I'm not hating. I'm just saying, that's the truth. But you know, Morgan's been there before. Morgan wrote that book. When their lacrosse team beat the number 1 lacrosse team in the world, Washington and Lee, I'm telling you what some of you already know, but you students need to get deep into this history. They beat Harvard, they beat George Washington University, they beat Notre Dame. That's like your basketball team beating every one of these teams in the Final Four in basketball. All right? That's what your lacrosse team did. And here's a little piece of their story. Come on, man. Come on.
The Morgan players harnessed the healing powers of lacrosse to change the notion that this was a game only for white people. Always popular with the Baltimore media, the story of their struggle was eventually replaced with the story of their success.
We were so into the sport, we were so into winning, it wasn't about being black or being white, it was about winning. And I wouldn't want to be known as just a black lacrosse player. I like to be known as a very good lacrosse player.
As we enter these lacrosse games and we play and win, and then all of a sudden are respected by the very people who are jeering and saying some very interesting things to us during the game, there was a level of accomplishment and satisfaction that's very hard to describe, because what you realize is you just made another athlete realize, I'm as good as you are, regardless of what color I am. And those are the kind of victories we wanted. I mean, we just want to show, if you level a playing field, I can do everything you can do.
You hear that? If you level the playing field, we can do everything you can do. Dr. Miles Harrison is here. Please stand and let's greet him like the hero he is. Dr. Miles Harrison. Dr. Miles Harrison. That's what I'm talking about. Listen. Athletic prowess, went to medical school, became a surgeon, has been practicing for over 3 decades right here in town. This man is what you all should aspire to be, honorees, and everybody else. But not only that, check this out.
Miles Harrison graduated from medical school and became a surgeon in the Baltimore area.
And the winner of the 2005 Male Tewaaraton Trophy is
Kyle Harrison.
In 2005, his son, Kyle, a midfielder at Johns Hopkins University, was named the best player in college lacrosse.
The second generation has lived up to the promise. And that's what we said to each other as we left. You know, our sons are going to do this and take it to another level. And my son was the first one to do it, so I'm really proud of that.
That's beautiful, isn't it? So not only was he excellent here on the field and in the classroom, but then he produced 2 kids. His daughter he sent to Spelman, and his son, as you just saw, became a lacrosse, the star, the #1 player in the country. Not #1 black player, the #1 player. This is a proud father right here. We celebrate you.
And it all comes if you Morgan yourself. When you Morgan yourself, you know your history and you reflect the best parts of your history. So now let me close. Let me close with this. I want you to awaken yourself. I need you to awaken yourself. And I'm wrapping here. My final point is built on a point that I made at Morehouse a lot. I got good mileage out of a quote by Mark Twain. Here is that quote. The two most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. There's 7 billion people in this world, but only a handful have had their second day. Only a handful know why they're here, living a call-answered life. You know some of these people, they walk around like they just have a sense of themselves, of who they are. They've had their second day. My father and grandfather would say, son, you talking about being born again. That's all you talk about when you talk about that, but I'm not going to get religious right now. Just keep it the way it is. Have you had your second day? You honorees, you're working hard enough to zero in now and get a calling. And I'm going to tell you something. When that happens to you, when you get a sense of your trajectory in life and where you're going, and you can see it as a North Star, and you follow it no matter what, and you work hard and harder and harder, and you excel. That's the pathway you're on right now. And if you do that, you will be more awake than most of the people around you. So I close with this final scene from Spike, who ended one of his best films with this powerful scene.
Please wake up.
Thank you very much. God bless you, Morgan State University. God bless you.
Dr. John S. Wilson, Senior Strategist to the President, Harvard University. What an inspiring address. Please join me once again in thanking Dr. Wilson for just an amazing message this morning for our honors convocation. And I'm going to ask Chairman Mfume and the other members of the Board of Regents and Provost McFadder to join me for a special presentation. On behalf of Morgan State University, I'm going to ask Dr. Wilson to come forward as well. On behalf of Morgan State University, I'm pleased to present to you this presidential citation for the 2019 Morgan State University Distinguished Achievement Award, and it reads as follows. Morgan State University Presidential Citation 2019 MSU Distinguished Achievement Award, presented to Dr. John Sylvanus Wilson, Jr., Senior Advisor and Strategist to the President of Harvard University. I, David Wilson, President of Morgan State University, congratulate you, Dr. John Sylvanus Wilson, Jr., for your distinguished career as an academician, rising through the ranks of the professoriate and ultimately serving as the 11th president of your alma mater, Morehouse College. I commend you as a relentless advocate on behalf of HBCUs, having served during the Obama administration as the executive director of the White House Initiative on HBCUs. I applaud you for your extraordinary philanthropy as a board member of the organizations and institutions as diverse as the Kresge Foundation, the United Negro College Fund, the Independence Federal Savings Bank, Gallaudet University, Carnegie Mellon University, Spelman College, and Harvard University. And most of all, I thank you for the prodigious gift of your friendship. Honors Convocation, April 4th, 2019, Morgan State University, David Wilson, President. We will now have a musical selection once again by the Morgan State University Choir.
We will now sing a Moses Hogan arrangement of Every Time I Feel the Spirit, Joel Roberson, soloist. Wow. You guys hear me say this every time at Convocation. I'm still aspiring to be one of those voices in our choir. And so one of these convocations, I'm going to come forward and I'm going to sing something. Throughout its history, Morgan has produced many outstanding honor scholars, some of whom have gone on to distinguished careers. You heard Dr. Wilson speak of a few of them in virtually every profession
and in every city and state in the nation and every corner of the world. And so today we would like to give special recognition to our honor scholars. And I will now ask Dr. Anna McFadder, the interim provost and senior vice president for academic affairs, to come forward to present these distinguished honor scholars. And she will be assisted by Dr. Darrell Peterkin, who is director of the Claire I. Adams Honors College.
Good afternoon. And let me just say to Dr. Wilson, that would be Dr. John Wilson, thank you for that very profound and very, very interesting presentation to all of us. You took us to school today. We appreciate that. Let me add my heartfelt congratulations to each of our honor scholars. Thank you for all of your consistent hard work and commitment to your academic experiences here at Morgan, and we promise you it will pay off. But we also want to thank your parents, your family, your faculty, your staff, and every single person here today who touched you during that experience. Now I'd like to introduce and bring forth the man of the hour, the one who oversees and makes all of this possible, and that is Dr. Darrell Peterkin, who is the director of the Claire I. Adams Honors College. And let us greet Dr. Peterkin with a warm welcome and appreciation for all of his amazing work in getting our scholars to where they are today. Dr. Darrell Peterkin.
Good afternoon, Morgan. Thank you, Madam Provost. I wish I could say some of that was true. It's a university effort today to bring our honor scholars to this point in their lives, and we are going to work doubly hard to make sure you go even further. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with this ceremony, this is the part that's fun, and we're liable to get a little loud, so prepare yourselves for that. We are now going to recognize the students who have maintained a perfect 4.0 cumulative average for 7 consecutive semesters and 5 consecutive semesters at this university. You can go ahead and clap, it's okay. Now, as your name is called, please come to the stage to accept your award. Now, some of you have reached out to me and said you could not be here today, but I'm going to read your names anyway because you deserve this recognition. First, the scholars who have maintained a perfect GPA for 7 consecutive semesters. First on our list, Ms. Dominique Bonds. Dominique Bonds. A social work major. Second on our list, Jamil Davis, an accounting major. The third person on our 7 consecutive list, Miss Christina Kincaid, could not join us this morning, but please, a round of applause for her. Christina Kincaid, also in social work. The next group of students are those who maintain a perfect cumulative average for 5 consecutive semesters at Morgan. First on our list, Ms. Noelle Bright, Family Consumer Sciences major. Noelle Bright. Next, we have Marissa Bush, a computer science major. Lucas Krasinski, nutritional science. Next, we have Samuel Orelaja, industrial engineering. Next, Pierce Perkins, a major in chemistry. Next on our list is Barbara Rideout Bay, Family Consumer Sciences. And next we have Cameron Robinson, Screenwriting and Animation. Next is Miriam Saye, Nursing. And lastly, Ms. Ashley Smith, Elementary Education. We will now move on to those students who have maintained a perfect GPA for 3 consecutive semesters. As I call your name, please stand in place. As a group, you will be recognized. These students can pick up their awards after the convocation in the Honors College office in the Legacy Jenkins building. First on our list, Adetumike Adeyemi, Electrical Engineering. Ayomide Ajayi, Computer Science. Amber Allinghouse, Nursing. Blanca Assisi, Strategic Communication. Stephen Barr, Civil Engineering. Mabonge Basa, Business Administration. Ayana Colmer Gilbert, biology. Heather Gesselman, nutritional science. Felicia Hanna, sociology. Albandare Hassan, medical technology. Almaha Hassan, medical technology. Jacob Heinlein, industrial engineering. Everett Jackson, construction management. Oluwakoyode Jasanya, electrical engineering. Sydney Jones, psychology. Jessica Lawson Goldberg, nutritional science. Eduardo Lopez, industrial engineering. Natalie Mack, political science. Imani Majors, architecture and environmental design. Erin Miles, English. Shivani Minto, computer science. Dulapo Nuruddin, biology. Oluwakemi Ojo, nursing. Ebunoloa Oni, economics. Sydney Ratliff Phillips, history. Ethan Sims, social work. Ajayi Smith, political science. Shonice Thomas, industrial engineering. Zane Washington, biology. John Westby, multi-platform production. And Devora Wilson, fine arts. And now, there are 35 students who earned perfect 4.0 averages during their first semester at Morgan, fall 2018. As I call your names, please stand and be recognized by your peers. Kafayat Ali, civil engineering. Selena Barea Carter, architecture and environmental design. Chanel Blase, nursing. Zaria Bronson, nursing. Maddie Bryant, biology. Deja Catton, biology. Semonique Constant, marketing. Ashley Deere, psychology. Jordan Deese, accounting. Michael Dennis, sociology. Okay. Samara Dunham, biology. Ryan Eubanks, architecture and environmental design. Juan Ferraro, electrical engineering. Kylie Fijalowski, architecture and environmental design. Jamera Forbes, sociology. Misha Harrigan, industrial engineering. Ayana Henry, psychology. Alyssa Holder, music. India Kutcherman, social work. Aaliyah Mooney, nursing. Oluwafumike Odenaya, biology. China Roger, psychology. Miyazia Rose, family consumer sciences. Eric San, elementary education. Ashley Shakir, marketing. James Shanubi, electrical engineering. Yahishi Shalom Stanley, screenwriting and animation. Asia Tichi, English. Bryce Takum, electrical engineering. Tariq Turner, multimedia journalism. Malika Walid, marketing. Jordan Wallace, sociology. Devereaux Winchester, health education. LaDonna Wyatt, biology. Dagmawi Zaidu, biology. Please join me in giving these students a round of applause. And you may also pick up your awards in the Honors College office in the Legacy Jenkins building. The Dean's List recognizes students who, in a given semester, complete 15 or more computable semester hours while having no missing grades, no grade of incomplete, or grades less than C, and they maintain an average of 3.4 or above. It also recognizes students who in a given semester complete 12 to 14 computable semester hours with no missing grades, no grades of incomplete, no grades less than C, and maintain a semester average of 3.6 or above. Mr. President, I have the pleasure to present to you 1,055 students who made the Dean's List for spring 2018. Will these students please rise and be recognized? There's more, Mr. President. 949 students made the Dean's List for fall 2018. Will those students also rise and be recognized? We would now like to take a moment to acknowledge the students who are members of the various honor societies that have chapters here at Morgan State University. And I know that some of you are newly inducted into your respective societies. Now, unfortunately, we don't have the time to name all of the societies individually, but I now ask that if you are a member of one of these organizations, please rise at this time and be recognized. Congratulations to all of you for upholding the highest of academic standards and for adding your names to Morgan's 152-year legacy of scholarly excellence, integrity, and civic engagement. Enjoy this moment. You have earned it, but tomorrow you must return to the hard work that has brought you thus far along the way to a better future for yourself and a better world for us all. Allow me to leave you with an inspiring charge from none other than the inimitable icon of freedom, Frederick Douglass, who I'm sure all of you know celebrated his 200th birthday just last year on February 14th. I love Douglass because he has a way of saying powerful things very simply, and it's no less the case here. Knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave. Unfit to be a slave. Thank you.
Once again, let's applaud all of our honor scholars that have been recognized here today. We really appreciate all the hard work that you put in, aligning yourself, deepening yourself, and Morganing yourself. And that's what you heard from our speaker today. And we really, really appreciate the fact that you gave us an opportunity today to honor you. And we know that nothing lies ahead but success. And so congratulations to all of you. Before we get to the alma mater, I do want to remind everyone that today is a day in which we saw the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Lose his life. And so I just want us to just pause for about 5-10 seconds in recognition of our fallen leader decades ago. Thank you. We will now have the alma mater led by the Morgan State University Choir, and this will be followed by the benediction by the Reverend Dr. Bernard Keels, and then the recessional. And I just want to remind the students to please stay where you are until the dais actually has exited the Murphy Fine Arts Center.
This anniversary of Dr. King's death, remember how he defined faith. Faith is taking the first step, even when you can't see the staircase. Remember this day, honorees, when you were honored for your academic achievements, but do not let your gifts be hid under a rock of self-centeredness. Let your light shine to illumine a pathway for others. Be ye steadfast in offering your hands to the work of those who have no hands. Give your feet to walk into your path of destiny, your eyes to see the possible, even in the impossible, your tongue to speak for those whose voices are muted by hopelessness and despair, your mind to discover even greater things, your spirit to meditate on tomorrow's footsteps. Above all, open your hearts to welcome the stranger, to embrace the other. Give your whole self to the task of making this world a place of peace and a haven of blessing. And take with you a peace, P-I-E-C-E, of the peace, P-E-A-C-E, of the Prince of Peace. And your footsteps will be remembered. Go now in peace.